we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope and desire is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games, and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love. We do it in a lot of different ways, but the most fun one is sitting down with those designers and other people I love and play those games. Tonight we are in our series finale of In Extremis Solarcide. Our first extended series here on Plus One EXP. We did a little itty bitty in between one earlier. We've got some other ones coming up later this year, but we are playing a game that debuted here last year, and that is In Extremis, which is a game about necromantic space witches from the planet Hecate or Hecate or Hecate. Depending on what part of the planet you live on, and which planet, maybe that one, maybe this one, who knows. Let's hear from the creator themselves. Keegan, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do? Tell us a little bit about In Extremis Solarcide.
Yeah, hi, I'm Keegan. You can find me online at KeeganEXE, and we're playing In Extremis today. We're doing Solarcide specifically, which is the final bit of content for the In Extremis Season Pass. I don't have much lined up there. I think Tony already explained sort of what's going on here. We're witches. We're in space. We're fighting aliens.
For that was hard for anybody else to understand. I had the
oh, you're muted on our side. They can hear you.
Yeah, I had the wrong microphone open for a minute there. Can you all hear me again now?
Yeah.
Cool. That means the other weird thing is probably fixed. No, that was actually me switching between two microphones because I was recording reviews earlier today, and so my studio mics were on as opposed to my close talking microphone. So yeah. Well, I'm glad I said it well. I hope I said it in a way that didn't sound completely garbled to everybody due to me talking into the wrong microphone. But man, that's pretty much how this series has started every time so far. Let's meet the other folks we're playing with. Let's start with Sammy. Sammy, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. Also, tell us a little bit about your character.
I'm Sammy, pronouns are she, they, Keish. On Twitter at Goddess Sammy with one fewer S's than you might think. I'm the main GM for the Star Wars Actual Play podcast, Greasy Panda Gaming, which can be found wherever podcasts are. And I'll be playing a Daemon, who is a walking hunk of muscle with two swords.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
And has a fascination with botany, actually, which is
there we go.
On the character sheet, so it's true.
And it's mattered. So it's an important thing to have written down. Next, let's hear from Aaron King, Celestial Travel Incarnate. Aaron, tell us who you are, what you do, where they can find you online. I'm also talking about you, not your character. I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about the character you're playing.
I am Aaron King at AaronMF King on Twitter. I'm very tired today. I am playing Barnes, who is a comet embodied into a human.
Wow, what a cool parallel that you are a Celestial Travel Incarnate, and so is your character. I love that.
I've died every session so far.
Play what you know is what they say, right?
Let's keep the streak going tonight. Next, let's meet my favorite character, the person who has to deal with my character's shenanigans. That's Sarah Frank. Also, I was talking about Sarah Frank is my favorite character. Sarah's also playing my favorite character in this one. Another moment of character bleed. Sarah, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and who you are playing?
Hi, I'm Osarix Franco. You can find me in all the places.
An O?
It's 0. Let's get really pedantic right now in this moment. But that's the thing about me that you now know. You can find me on all social medias there. If you want to look. My pronouns are she, her, as are my character pronouns. Diriel, who is one of the keepers, a member of an organization that is set against making sure that things that should remain dead do in fact remain dead. And she's pretty okay at it.
I am playing as a thing that is dead but is refusing to stay dead. My name's Tony Vicinity. You can find me at +1EXP. I am playing Barbatus Batarax. I'm actually playing the relic of Barbatus Batarax's body, which is Barbatus was a keratinist who used, which means in life he controlled hair. In death, the relic that is the remain of his body after death, that is sentient and alive and weird and creepy, is a like a 6 to 8 foot long whip made out of beard hair with bone studs along it. It now has a couple of bells hanging off of it, and has a kind of a bone spike at the end, and a bone handle made out of a corvid bone. That's what I would be like if I wasn't currently occupying a mostly fallen apart body of a big old bird that's had little bits of it chip off as I've used different parts of its body and it's taken damage. It's mostly a walking bird skeleton at this point in time with little bits of meat hanging onto it and a lot of pieces of hair holding it all together. I have a specialty in alchemy from my life and puppetry from after my death.
The puppetry masteries truly come in clutch.
I'm just saying, sometimes you're like, hey, you know what makes sense for this hair thing that can take over people's bodies to be able to be good at? Puppetry.
Yeah.
You know. So with that said, I'm going to hand things over to Keegan to take us into episode 3, the finale of In Extremis Solarcide.
Yeah. Cool. So just to back up a little bit, the last 2 sessions have involved session 1, we discovered Corvus, the sort of like enemy aliens in the system who've been wiping out all the other life on the planets. They've been traveling through the sun to get to us. We've come up with a plan to destroy the sun to stop them from coming in. Session 2, we found one of their ships. It was very haunted. It involved everybody dying a little bit to get information. We've done that, and now we're going to pick up a few weeks after last session. So everybody learned some stuff last week, so I'm just going to go over it again real fast. Barnes, you learned of long-lost star maps for other systems, and you learned how to aim a ship through a sun and land in a system you'd like it to. Adabon, you've learned of these star engines, and your knowledge of medicine and ships, you're pretty sure you could recreate it on the Leviathan, and it's not as difficult as one would imagine it would be. Barbatus, as you reflect on what you've learned here, and your own knowledge of necromancy and life and death, which is relatively different since you are dead yourself, you've sort of come to the realization that you know the exact tools and materials you'd need to make this ship sunproof and keep it from dying.
And what else did I learn, Keegan? What else did I learn,
also
Keegan?
Learned poetry. My bad.
I learned some of the Corvid tongue, specifically Corvid poetry. Thanks to Malchitos, for one of our stalwart YouTube subscribers, for translating some of my bird poetry from last time.
It's really good
in the comments. So,
yeah, with this information that you got, though, you know how to retrofit the ship you all have been traveling on to get it ready to go through the sun. And then, Diriel, as you think back to your time in death, you sort of have like a knowledge of how you could recreate the sort of situation that dived you into death and sort of into the heart of the moon there. And you know how you could use that against the sun. And with that out of the way and the repairs and modifications to the ship being made, let's talk about your plan, and namely, what is it here?
I have a mechanical question first.
Yeah, go for it.
How many wells do we have?
You will have 7 when we get to moving again.
Normal. Jet K wants to know, did learning that alien language change the way that my character sees the world at all? Yeah, but my character's not really introspective, and as soon as it's out of this stupid bird body, he's gonna forget all about it. Like, he won't forget the knowledge that he learned, but any of the emotional lessons that he learned as part of that will absolutely be gone.
Yeah. Yeah, so what is our plan? Really early, session 1, we talked about destroying our own sun. But with the fact that your ship can travel through a sun, you could also destroy like the Corvus sun. You could do something else entirely. What are we looking at
We
here?
could destroy both suns, and that's Barbatus's immediate proposition and has been his consistent through line the entire time. Why not? Why
Yeah.
not both suns? I'm just saying.
The only rebuttal he would get from Diriel is, I know that we learned that we could live without a sun,
Mhm.
but is it going to be detrimental? You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like how I can live without listening to Joan Jett on repeat every like 6 months, but like it puts an emotional toll on my heart.
So I will say a thing you do know is that when the moon died, very similarly, it stayed in the sky and it still does. Moon things are just a little different, and you'd expect with the sun it would be the same case. So
Okay.
And
you
look,
would be living
here's the
without
other
the
thing.
sun, it would just be very different.
I 95% of the time, whether I like it or not, I live in a drawer. And so the argument of what does the sun do for any of us has the least impact on me.
Yeah, let's blow up their sun first. And if that doesn't stop them, then we could look into blowing up our sun.
Exactly.
I think having the backup plan of blowing up our sun, or killing our sun rather, is advisable. If we can lock the door from their side, great, but better safe than sorry.
So
What do you
plan
think,
A, we
Barnes?
blow up both suns. Plan B, we blow up their sun.
What? No. I don't think it works like that.
Plan A, we blow up their sun and then our sun. Plan B, we blow up their sun.
Yeah, it should be the other way around.
What you need to know about Barnabas is that typically we do end up going with plan B most of the time.
Okay, so just skip right to plan B and then do plan A if plan B fails.
B for Barbatus better. Why do I have to explain this every single time? Barnes,
Okay.
you're with me here, right? You're a B.
Okay, well, alphabetically speaking, I'm the first, so let's do plan A first, A for Adaven, and then we'll go on to the plan Bs. And then we'll skip plan C because there's nobody in our group.
The B's
C.
plan is plan like K, where we unleash a lot of bees. That's a totally different plan.
Okay, and if all else fails, we'll go to plan D, which is Diriel's plan.
Right.
We're doing this alphabetically, apparently, for some reason. Plan A, blow up their sun first and see how that plays out. Kill their sun first.
And then kill our sun. And then if that doesn't work, kill their sun.
No, kill their sun first,
Right.
and then don't kill our sun.
What? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Diriel is looking at Barnes at this point with kind of a smile on her face and goes, "It's probably best that I just let him keep going. He doesn't get this much socialization typically."
He knows I'm going to take a real long nap later on.
He's gonna check himself out. But Barnes, truly, what's your opinion? You've been around several suns. You understand.
Yeah, I want to blow ours up, but it's a
Blow
personal thing.
Plan A.
I thought that was plan B.
Plan B is blow up their sun. Plan A is blow up their sun and blow up our sun. I feel like I'm talking to a wall here.
Okay, well, now I'm just confused.
I think
Wait,
that.
I think we zoom out.
This is a
on
classic.
Yeah,
this
that
is
was
one of
what I was
those
gonna
classic
say.
fly and talk things. You hear the arguing fade away as we zoom out into space.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so before we get to the sun, we have some downtime. There's going to be a few weeks of travel and modifying the ship before we make it there. What do we get up to during that time? Are there things, are there specific things you all want to prepare? Are there specific scenes you all want to play out? Stuff like that.
I don't. The plan is we're going to fly into the sun, right?
Yeah, directly through it.
Cool. Is our plan to stay on the ship the entire time?
Presumably, yes.
Presumably, yes. I'm thinking about all the weird things I want to do. So here's the deal. I don't know what passes for sleep for necromancers. I don't know if sleep happens or not for necromancers. If it does,
Pretty sure it does.
if it does,
I mean, the
I was
saying
gonna
is sleep when you're dead, and we all died a little bit, so you know.
and if Sammy is okay with it, Sammy, I wake up over. Dang it, I don't have my notes here with the actual phonetic pronunciation. Adebon. Did I do it right this time? Adebon's. I wake up standing over Adebon a couple times and like just collecting sweat off of your body. If that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
You wake up to giant, falling apart bird creature, mostly held together by hair.
Well, collecting sweat checks out because there are 4 things I want to do. Lots of push-ups, lots of sit-ups, drink all my juice, and work on the sun engine.
Cool.
Drink all my juices. Super
It's so good. Drink all of my juice.
I also love that there means there's any number of points at which I could have just been like, hey, let me get a little sweat off of the floor or whatever, but that's not how I
No,
chose
but that'd be
to do
weird.
it.
That'd be
That's not
really
how I
weird.
chose to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not a monster. I wipe down my equipment.
Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
I am a
There you
monster.
go.
I let people sweat while they sleep.
You are literally a hair whip. Yes, you are
That's what-
some kind of monster.
What you're saying is you wipe down my equipment for me.
It's not untrue. Yeah, y'all see me wringing a lot of different substances out of my body over the course of the week, and I'm collecting them and pooling them into something. I also think I'm trying to figure out if I can infect the ship to a larger and larger degree. I'm just going to go ahead and say that now, because technically there's nothing that prevents me from infecting the ship if I end up being
Killing
the
the
thing that takes its last hit point. So I think I'm practicing with small bits of necrotic flesh that I'm taking off the hole as I'm prepping it for sun entry.
Tony, I'm extremely excited to say I've played with you enough that I was prepared for this moment.
I have no doubt that you were.
You can absolutely possess a whole ship.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm just working on that. I'm doing the calculations.
Cool.
Awesome. Diriel would be trying to rehearse or practice like as much as she needed to this getting back into death, because I think she's pretty nervous about being able to do that at the right time. So a lot of her time would be spent kind of skirting that line of reaching where she needs to and then returning back to life, and going through other training exercises of sorts, practicing like bell movements, and her sword stances.
Her sword stance.
Yeah, excuse me, it's sword stances.
Swords. Yeah, easy enough there. Barnes, you up to anything particular?
No.
Sick. Sounds good. Cool. So let me zoom down to where I am here. Yeah, so as you all approach the sun, obviously the heat and energy given off by traveling through this is intense. I'm gonna have everybody make a muscle roll here real fast as the ship sort of starts to heat up.
Not a muscle roll. That's my worst stat.
Oop. Should probably pull
God.
pull the character keeper off of the thing that's got the call on it. Whoops. Whoopsie.
I
doodles.
rolled a 2.
2, perfect.
I rolled a 4.
I got a 5.
Wow, the most muscly of us didn't roll a success.
I just want to also
jinxed
point
myself.
out, I'm outside the ship a lot during this process.
Okay.
I rolled a 5 though.
Okay, you rolled a 5 though. Cool. So I will say, anyone who rolled a 4 or 5 here, you're just going to take a little bit of damage. You're each going to take 2 damage, just as the sun sort of heats up the ship. It is uncomfortable in here.
So what you're saying is I'm going to take 1 damage because...
Yeah, you're going to take 1 damage. Sarah, Diriel.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell
It
me.
is hot in a way you were not prepared for here. You
Mhm.
instead are going to take 4 harm as we
Okay.
sort of pull through here. Not enough to down you, but you're definitely feeling it here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Awesome.
can I I don't know if this is allowed or not.
No, please go for it.
After having come in from the ship and now like all my bird bits that are not bone, all my bird bits that not bone,
Mhm.
are pretty jerkied. Can I notice that Diriel is not doing well? And just kind of rest my weird, mostly hollow bird frame on her, and take 2 of those points of damage instead, and like become a exosuit for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. That's sick. I'm not even make you roll for that. Yeah,
Awesome.
you can split that damage. Diriel, as as you're starting to feel that, your old ally here, Barbatus,
Uh-huh.
I believe you said bone exos you.
Yeah. So imagine like your Sigourney Weaver,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's like some feathers, but mostly hair, and a nice place for you to sit. And you're
Uh-huh.
used to using my body as a extension of your own.
Yeah.
Too, so like, this is normal.
Yeah, I view it very much like you just kind of come in and I like stand on your feet sort of
Yeah.
a thing, and like you hold my hands and we like monkey walk where we need to
Yeah.
go.
And I kind of protect you
Yeah.
from the worst of the solar rays.
Yeah, like when we walk by a window, we like turn our backs and kind of walk that way.
Right.
During that time, Diriel would look at kind of probably where the handle of the whip is at, because that seems to be the most, recognizable bit of you at this point. And thank you, Barnabas. It's much warmer than I thought it would be. I'm more used to the cold.
I've heard when you get near the sun, it gets hot, but this is ridiculous. It's not even funny. I don't know why I said that. Tracks with Barbatus' general way of being there.
No,
I mean, are you sure you don't need to be collecting sweat right now? It probably would be a really good time.
Oh, trust me, not an issue. We just flash over, and it's like a bedpan made out of like a hollowed out beak, like underneath wherever Edibon like sleeps. It's just gathering more and more and more sweat.
Barbatus, as you were one of the people like collecting armored plates for this thing, you definitely were able to scavenge some, so you don't have to worry about the sweat evaporating during.
Oh yeah, it's a very refined collection method.
It's a very refined collection. As you all, as it gets really bad here on the ship, though, there is like a just slight popping noise, and you feel that was the worst of it, and you have traveled through the sun and into the Corvus system. And as you sort of make it to the other side of the ship, I just saw the phrase sweat concentrate. As you make it through the other side of the sun, coming out, you see there are a number of Corvus ships here. Looks like it's hard to know if they're laying here and waiting, or if like in waiting for you, or if they're waiting for their turn to jump through the sun. But as you come through, you all have been made.
So you're saying that the feathers I've been intentionally shutting on the outside of the ship for the last week, that I've stuck out as 2 really weird, awkward wings that don't look anything like a Corvid ship, didn't fool them?
I'm gonna say it didn't fool them. I'm not even gonna have you roll for that one.
No, it was bad. It was really bad.
Cool.
I wasn't even, the only ship we'd seen of theirs was Crash, and I've not paid attention to what they looked like. So it was like I literally stuck 2 probably like 3-foot wings on the side of this ginormous ship and thought that was going to do the trick. And
they were made of cardboard. They're not burned off. They're like folded back from the force of the ship moving, and are like fluttering in that way that they just like they don't even look functional. Like they're streamers at this point.
Yep. And they are on fire though.
They are on fire for sure. There is a scare factor to that, I think, right?
Yeah.
Hey, one sec.
So we're gonna get some intimidation points for that,
Okay, cool.
obviously.
We're fine. Give me 1 second. My
Yes.
pet's just got in a fight over there.
Excellent. So a couple important things while we are vamping, which is what the technical term for this is. If you have not yet, you should head over to ttrpg.link /TWJam. That's for the Together We Go Jam. That has a lot of amazing third-party projects coming out of for the Together We Go system, which is our house OSR system. There's just a ton of tremendously cool stuff. Charlie Ferguson Avery just dropped some art. We've had some other pieces, but what I want to tell you about is one of my favorite projects on there so far. And when I say I want to tell you about it, what I mean is, Aaron King, tell us a little bit about After the Bomb.
Should we, or Keegan's back now?
No, go ahead and tell us
Oh
about
no,
After the
I want to
Bomb.
hear about After the Bomb,
Yeah.
so we're good. I've read it. I've downloaded it 3 times on my computer already.
And then
on
we're gonna
accident.
each
Like,
say
you're
our
forgetting
favorite
I've
thing
already
about
done
After
it.
the Bomb.
After the Bomb is a post-apocalyptic role-playing game in the style of Fallout. And right now, there's about 30 pages of basic rules and feats for your character to take, and a bunch of cool tables to roll on for mutants and weird animals and stuff like that. And tomorrow, I'm finishing the text for a little prefab campaign set in Minneapolis, the wasteland of 10,000 lakes. And so you'll be able to, listen to Swamp Girl Radio, which is the super mutant radio run from a submarine in a lake near here, fight some bike raiders, and do all the other cool Minneapolis things, but with some extra nuclear power.
Awesome. I can't wait to play that. Also, we did officially get Amanda Lee Frank to change her name to Swamp Girl Radio on Twitter. I'm very excited for Amanda's future super mutant exploits in the 10,000 Lakes area. And so please go check it out. I just dropped a link over in the chat. I'm very, very excited about it. Keegan, what's your favorite thing about After the Bomb?
Oh, all of After the Bomb's really good, but I just love Swamp Girl Radio.
I did
I'm waiting for the
definitely
Swamp Girl Radio merch.
I did definitely look up custom slap bracelets for about 20 minutes yesterday so that we could make fake Pit Boys based on After the Bomb also too.
There will also be a zip file with like 10 to 12 royalty-free songs from the 1940s and 50s that you can download to play while you are playing After the Bomb. So you get that real Fallout radio feel.
There we go. Awesome. Don't sue Aaron King, any corporations. All right, Keegan, take us back in.
My bad. My pets were not happy over there, but they're good now. As like I said, we've made it through the sun. In the distance, you see there are 4 Corvus divers. Those are the ships you've previously seen. They're all significantly bigger than your ship are, but significantly larger than any of those. There are also 2 Corvus Dreadnoughts. Barnes, can I have you make a bone roll for me real quick?
I got a 6 and a 3.
Cool. A 6 is great. As you sort of set your sights on these dreadnoughts, you've seen these ships before. You've seen these ships one time specifically in the past. And it was shortly before your sun expanded and ate the planet. You saw these ships like hanging out near the sun, and you're sort of filled with the knowledge that they were feeding the sun to cause its expansion.
Oh, I relay that to the rest of the crew. Does that mean they're going to expand this sun or our sun, do you think?
I mean, neither, because we're going to plan A, destroy this sun, destroy our sun, no more expansion.
So you keep changing what plan A and plan B is. I'm pretty sure.
My guess, Barnes, is that they would extend ours if we've been able to hold them back this long. If they could wipe us out with a singular act, I imagine that would be the course that they would take at this point. It does make me wonder if we wouldn't be better off not having a sun in the off chance that they find another way to reach us.
Yeah, can't weaponize what isn't there.
Exactly.
Y'all
So
want me to talk to him?
What would you say, do you think, to convince them?
Do what? I mean, I'm more of an improv personality, you know. I will point out, every time I've said, y'all want me to talk to him, either A, you haven't let me and it would have been fine, or B, you let me and it worked out fine.
Under
so I'd like
no
to see what I can
circumstances-
do. That's 5 points.
I see what you did there. I by no means am I saying that you shouldn't talk to them. I absolutely have been tracking your success in this. I'm more just curious. It's kind of nice. It would be nice to know, if in case it does go poorly, what the last words I hear are.
I mean, do you speak Corvid? It just seems like.
Well, no, I don't, and that's why I'm saying.
If I tell you, what's it gonna matter?
Well, why are you so against telling me, Barnabas?
I just feel like you don't. I feel like y'all don't trust me.
Oh, well, that certainly isn't true. As I'm like being held in an exosuit.
I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna get one shot at this, and then I'm not gonna probably be able to remember a lot of bird language after that.
Then yes, you have my support. I think that's a fine idea. Adabon Barnes, any concerns?
Well, if negotiations fail, we have to make right where I want them. You have them totally surrounded.
Take it away, Barnabas.
I pop out the fleshy tentacle like thing that is a microphone for communications, and I stick it into my desiccated bird beak that's mostly crumbled apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use command, which is one of the abilities that this form has, and what Barbados is trying to say is, it's I, the captain who you sent to the other side. I've captured this ship and come back. Keep a distance, though. The core is of this ship is been heavily modified and it may explode at any moment. What everybody else hears is what I actually say, who knows?
Yeah. So command's gonna cost you a well.
It's not. It's going to cost me
a hell. Right.
Hell.
Yeah.
Take
So
out of
I'll-
muscle as we watch all the sinews on this thing kind of fall, like shrink down to nothing.
It's going to become just bones here soon.
It's just bone. It's just bone with a lot of nerve right now.
A lot of nerve.
Yeah, what you see here is so there are like the 4 divers, like I said, do seem to turn away from you. The 2 dreadnoughts coming your way are not stopping, though. You do get the idea that they would have been in charge of you.
That's fine. Look, I took care of 4 of the ships. Also, this thing is delicious, and I chopped down on the radio, and there's a crackling noise, and the sound. There's an uncanny feeling of a bird swallowing a worm happening at this point in time and on the bridge.
Just to get my spatial awareness correct. So we've gone through our sun. Is their sun like directly behind us then? Is that like headed like as if they were going to use their sun as a portal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're heading towards it. You're sort of pushing away from it right now.
Yeah. So as Barnabas is trying to make peaceful first contact through the art of bird poetry, Diriel is going to try and start preparations for getting us to that point in death, to try and take out the sun with Barnes and Adabon, so Barnabas can kind of join us when the peace talks are through.
Yeah, perfect. So you're gonna start preparing the spell. I will give you something on that in just a second.
Perfect.
The rest of you, you do see these two dreadnoughts are still coming your direction. They don't seem as fooled by.
I did everything I could. It's good.
Yeah. You know, Diriel, you know this spell is going to take you a number of. It's going to take you like a number of minutes to get it going and safe, like going both safe and comfortably.
Okay. Yeah.
During
I would
that
just
time, these ships will be able to reach you.
okay. Turning to the rest of the crew then. I will need time to finish preparing. Can you hold the ships off in the meantime? Distract them?
Yeah, evasive action.
You know, I wanted to take the ship with all the big guns. Just saying. For no reason.
I feel like you have arms enough for it already. Kind of gesturing to
Big
yours.
guns.
Barbatus also flexes. It's just bone.
The
held
arm
together
falls
by
off.
hair.
Yeah, wait. So if you're just bone,
It's just
and you
bone
just
and hair.
ate the you just ate the microphone, is there just like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
microphone just hanging?
Yeah.
In your chest cavity,
And guess what else is in my chest cavity?
Diriel.
Yep.
Kate, can I flavor this? Because I think it'd be really cool. Diriel's going to inside Var to start like focusing on start focusing on the spell. And as she does ice crystals, because as she's kind of like entering that realm of death and cold, ice is going to start spreading out from her form into this exoskeleton of Barbatus, kind of tracing along the bones and stuff. So now he looks like this crazed ice
Sculpture.
demon. Yeah,
Ice demon, even better.
with Ariel kind of half frozen inside.
Hey Barnes. What's this?
Ice breath.
Great. I'm actually taking evasive action right now, so we can talk about that later.
You see Barnes at a control panel just turn around. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna get into ship combat here, a thing we've never done in Extremis and has not been tested till this moment.
Have you
So,
showed anybody these rules yet? Because I haven't seen them.
No, actually, I sent them in the chat literally right now. Here's how it's going to work, though. The ship is going to essentially act as all of you at once. The ship itself will get one movement, but it has all of your abilities. You can cast spells from it. It has its own weapon, so it can attack on its own once per turn as a bite attack. And then there are a number of other things you all could do instead of attack actions, including like repairing the ship, taking evasive maneuvers. There are attack maneuvers. If you all get boarded, there are like deboarding actions you can take.
So I do want to point out, we did have this conversation, but I also want people to know how much Keegan was not bullshitting, because
it
is written on here. I'm trying to get it pulled up so I can show it. Tony can theoretically take over the whole ship this way. Is written on these rules. I don't know how readable those are. Does it have weapons that you can cast into your spell through it? If it goes down, you can bring it back with its own wells. Tony can theoretically take over a whole ass ship this way. Written on these pieces of notes.
Tony, I'm not kidding when I say I've played with you enough to know how your fucking brain works. Cool. Yeah. The ships are approaching, but you all can move first here. I'm going to say, for the sake of this, the two dreadnoughts are both going to be at mid-range to you, and the divers are all going to be at far range currently.
I just out of curiosity, in your mind as the designer of this game, is this like the ranges are AU? So like if I popped out of this, like astrological unit, so like if I popped out of this, these things would all be very far away from me. But as long as we're in the ship, we're talking about ship-borne ranges at this point in time. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. I love it. Cool. We're all taking this in as we go.
Yeah, sorry, I decided to throw new rules at you all live.
Excellent.
Should we focus on one of the ships, and then can Tony take that ship over?
Well, those ships are those ships biological?
We are going to ignore that for this.
As y'all are doing this, y'all do see me like tip tapping my like birdie fingers, which are getting like slower as I go, on a couple of like flesh ports over in the corner. I'm obviously up to something, but you do not know what yet. I'll let somebody else go, but I do have a thing I want to do in a second.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll stick to what I said about taking evasive maneuvers. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's only 2 dreadnoughts close, and we can cancel one of their actions with this.
Yeah, so the evasive maneuvers make the enemies lose an action. And they would usually get 3 actions, but since there's only the 2 of them, they would have only had 2, and they're down to 1 action now. Diriel and Adabon, is there anything you all want to do here?
Duriel's spell prepping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least one or both of us should be doing the spell.
Yeah, Duriel's got that locked and loaded.
So I think for now, Adabin's going to be helping with the spell, just to get, like, it says takes 10 actions to complete, but it doesn't say who does the actions. So I think,
Yeah, if all 4 of you blew actions on it, you would blow through it faster for sure.
Cool.
so I'm going to wait until we get boarded to do something fun. So for the time being, I'd be burning my action to help with the spell.
Yeah, writing deboarding actions really does imply something about what I have planned, huh?
So all of a sudden, as I've finished typing into these flesh pods, you see me stick like one finger on each of these bird hands into these like flesh pods, and all of a sudden you see them get sucked out of the room. And what I want to propose, Keegan, is that when I cast animate skeletons at this point, that the Leviathan births 2 small, sleek skeletal bone fighter crafts that I can control.
That is 100% what I was expecting here. Once again, I was like, I gave Tony a really powerful bone and said, go wild with it. So,
yeah, I didn't use that bone yet, but I do think that bone is part of the reason I am probably able to do this. I have the bone of the first necromancer, in case anybody's wondering. And I'm like, yeah, and this giant space tick's rusty flesh kind of unfolds, and 2 giant dagger-like, or giant, small-sized ships kind of pop out and shoot towards the other thing.
yeah, perfect. So you said you made 2 of these bone skeletons?
Oh, actually, let me see. I
think you can make 3. Right?
I think I can make 3 because I think I also didn't go redo my points after we realized I had overspent on some things. I'm just gonna bump the other thing up.
Cool.
One more. Yes. Yeah, that's what I do.
Great. Yeah, they are made. But you can make them you could make the skeletons at mid range, which would put them in range to just immediately attack as well.
Sure. Let's do that then. Yeah, they shoot out and they're shooting out little bone spikes at these Corvid ships.
Yeah, cool. We get a really sick image of you creating ships out of literally nothing and going to war with them. I'm just gonna open your sheet. Skeletons
4 health and attack targets of my choice on my turn. They deal 2 damage on an attack, which I must roll using my own stats. Burn 1 well per skeleton you bring up during the round. So I lost 3 skeletons also too, or lost 3 wells as part of the process, and found 3 skeletons. This feels like these are fast movie aroundy shippies, and this is all happening very quickly. That sounds like a nerve roll to me.
Yeah, that feels like nerve. Go for it.
Pew, pew.
And it'll just be 1 roll for the 3 of them. You don't have to roll it 3 separate times.
I got 2 6s.
Shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's immediately out the gate. what's that? 2 skeletons at 12 damage. Jeez, over here having to do some math on it.
It's true.
Yeah, they did not see this attack coming. We're not at all prepared for it. That is not going to be enough to take a ship down.
That's fine.
As one might expect, a whole ship has a lot of health. But with that, unless I think you all have used all your actions now?
Mhm.
Cool. Then with that, the Dreadnought is going to get its own attack in against you. And it's going to fire a shot off that just deals 2 harm to your ship, which I will track over here. Your ship still has 4 health left. Your ship, notably, a lot less health than theirs. But we are back to your turn. And as we see this too, we do see the divers turning back around. They're another turn or 2 from really getting a good attack on you. But
Does our ship have a Daebon's armor?
your ship does have a Daebon's armor. That is a good call.
Nice.
It took, in fact, 1 hit.
I don't know what's about to happen with this. I'm gonna have the skeleton ships come around for another pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing as last time. Make another.
I got a
miracle for
5
me.
on them.
Okay, cool.
And then for me, I want to cast Once More Through the Void.
Yeah.
But also there's a person inside me, so I don't know what's going to happen. And we're fused together via ice. You can decide.
Amazing.
I do know where I'm
su-
going.
I'm supportive. Let's go.
Yeah. But Tony, tell us about this spell and where you want to go.
So What's Worth Through the Void is a spell we unlocked last time. Each of us have the ability once, and then we forget how to do it, to travel any point in the galaxy. You may only use the spell one time before surrendering its knowledge to the void forever. I am going to go to the bridge of the non-damaged ship.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see this one coming. I'll
I'm
tell
so
you that. I
excited.
did not
I'm so
catch
excited.
this one coming. I don't have
Let's
notes
fucking
here.
go, bro.
This is great.
And like we like I just turn and go, hey guys, I got an idea, and then like I like wink out of existence in a starburst with Deerhill inside me, and then pop up on the bridge of the other ship, and I just say, "What's up, motherfuckers?"
Okay. Duriel's eyes will snap open. What do I see on this bridge? Because I have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, there are a lot of Corvus on this bridge. I'll say there's probably a good mix, like 12. I can pull up stats if I need to here in a minute, but there's probably like 12 enemies around you. There's definitely like a commander on the bridge here, and then a bunch of
Okay.
underlings poking around at computers.
Okay. Duriel will like break a hand away, like ice kind of falling away, and reach into her coat and pull out a bell, and is immediately going to burn a well to use Sound of Control. And the range is close, and I want the target to be the ship itself. Every unit in range immediately attacks the target, dealing 3 damage. Let me roll to see if I save from the thing that I have done. Let's see. Oh, awesome. 2 6s. So I don't take any damage. But
Okay, sick.
yeah, you'll just eyes open, bell, and they just start attacking the consoles.
Well, so here's the thing. That is a lot of damage. There were a lot of people here. So what you see happens is somebody hits the big red button on their thing, and you start hearing sirens go off through the ship. Actually, because you have Barbatus here, who does speak some Corvus.
Yeah, and I said, "What's up, motherfuckers?" in Corvus. So Sarah, all Duriel heard was,
Yeah, it still does not change. Just very efficiently, bell done, so they can trash the place.
Yeah. Barbatus, what you hear is probably what you expect me to say here, which is warning: ship self-destructing.
Yeah, that did it.
Can you take?
I used the spell that I had. I don't know if you want to hang out here with me or not. But I can't get us back.
Is the ship like a Leviathan?
In what way is the ship like a Leviathan?
Well, like in that it was alive and now it will be dead. I know we said we were ignoring that, but that was before Tony.
That was before you were in the bridge.
Onto a bridge.
Yeah. Oh, and you have the.
And we have Barbatus with us.
Yeah. As you came here, this ship is in fact a living creature.
You all are seeing cannon be formed right in front of your eyes.
Okay. And I would know that it's a thing. Because of death knowledge. Okay.
As if you want a second, we can jump back to the other two.
Yeah, can you please?
This was a lot to throw at you.
That would be amazing. That's amazing.
Cool. Barnes and Adabon, what are we doing over here?
Knowing that through the void is only a one-way trip, I am going to try to fly our ship closer. Do I know where they ended up?
No, I said I've got an idea.
No, I was like, I don't feel like you said yes. No, you have no idea.
Can I do some kind of sensors roll for my action?
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. I'm going to hop over to your character sheet real fast because I think I would say so. You have the ability Spaceway Perspective, correct? Where you can see everything out from every angle. Up to like a mile or a half mile from where you are. So I would say if you want to burn a well to use Spaceway Perspective, I will let you know where they are.
Yeah, I'm in.
Cool. Yeah, you. What does that look like as you use Spaceway Perspective?
I think my body stays in one place, but it's like all of a sudden I have an aerial shot.
Okay.
But it's also a little bit cubist, like things are turned so that I can see them in my perspective.
Yeah, perfect. As you get this shot, you can see through the window of this other Corvus Dreadnought, and you can see the lights flashing in that ship. You know they're in some sort of danger. You probably don't know the ship's about to explode, though.
Great. Yeah, I'll start maneuvering closer to them.
Yeah, that's perfect. With that, and with you having Comet's Path specifically, the ship takes off. You do pull the Attila. You can get it as far as you want.
And that's me, I think, for this turn, right?
Sick. Yeah. Adabon, what do you want to do?
Well, I was working with Diriel on the spell. She just up and disappeared though, so I'm gonna with a look of shock and confusion, I'm just gonna keep working on the spell, so burn another action on progressing that.
Yeah, of course. So
keep the magic's flowing.
That is using an attack action. You're welcome to like use a spell or do something else if you would like as well.
Most of my stuff deals better with things I can hit with my sword.
Very fair. Cool. With this then, we're able to Barnes, you're able to get the ship. Do you want to maneuver it between the two ships, or are you trying to keep your ship like to the side to avoid it like taking fire or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd love to use their ship as cover from the other big ship. Okay,
cool. You're not gonna take they're not gonna try firing on themselves to get to you. So nothing's up at the enemies. Let's go back to Diriel real quick. What were you up to?
Diriel will kind of unfold and step out of her encasement And as she does, pulling out, she's got one bell in one hand and will pull out a second. Barnabas, will you be taking this ship?
Oh yeah, I got this.
Aye, Captain. And I'm going to then ring or use Burn a Well to cast the Little Death. So everyone in here will go to sleep now that they've destroyed their own ship.
You're a terrible person.
They go night night.
Yeah, go ahead and give me that bones roll. Make sure you don't also go night night.
Yeah, I got 3 5s and a 3.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're fine then. You do see the people on the ship just drop like flies around you. As you sort of look around the bridge, you can see through like the windows, you can see the Leviathan pulling up next to your ship. And B, you can see the ship did have was prepared to board people who got near you. And you can see there's like another big red button just in a great spot you can hit that would sort of extend a bridge between your two ships.
Okay, great. I feel like what I would like to do is like I did the thing and they've gone to sleep, but I know that like this spell needs to actually happen. So leaning on Barbados to take over this vessel, if possible, I would like to rejoin that magic that I kind of like stepped away from. Is that something I can do?
100% you can do that.
Awesome. Yeah. So Diriel will then sit on the floor with one of the bells on her knee and her sword kind of crossed over and refocus on the spell. Hopefully Adabon can kind of feel that like surge returning into the spell. So they know that like
100% Adabon, you can
Awesome.
feel you're not the only one working on this spell anymore.
Yeah, well, one of us is significantly better at doing spell stuff, and it's not me.
it feels like a hand that's like, I'm back, bud. We got this.
We're gonna get real weird with this session apparently. But with this, we see the bridge to this dreadnought sort of open up. There are going to be a lot of Corvus on that ship, which might pose a problem if Tony's going to be taking it over for a while. But Adabon, you do see the bridge sort of connect, and you can see there are a number of Corvus inside the ship. That's you're not quite being boarded, but you do have an option to board the enemy ship instead.
The enemy ship that's seconds away from exploding?
You don't know that.
I don't know that. I gotta run into that ship with a sword held high.
Yeah, go ahead. There are a number of enemies in here. So what do you want to do?
Well, first thing I want to do is burn a well and run the juice, which necromantically enhances my muscles so I can swing harder, faster, and longer. And then I'm just going to whack as many things as possible with my sword.
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and give me that muscle roll.
And I've changed my dice because my other ones are rolling bad because I'm extremely superstitious about my dice. And I just want everyone to know that I rolled 3 1s and a 4.
Oh my god.
3 1s and a 4.
Yep, so I'm taking my dice out again because
that feels like a bad sign, right? Lucky for you, a 4 is a mixed success still. Just a little lower, and it would have been bad for you. But as it stands, you're able to. Which sword are you using here specifically?
The flaming sword.
The flaming sword. Okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, my other sword has sentimental value, but this is a critical mission to kill the sun. I need to be using the best gear I have, which is my flaming sword.
Yeah, you need to use the sun's own weapon against it, which is fire, obviously.
Yep, fight fire with fire. It's all according to plan.
Great. Yeah, you're able to run down this hallway. I'm not even going to ask how much damage you do here because you're doing a significant enough amount. between the juice and this flaming sword that you're gonna cut down whatever's in your way here.
Yep, and leave a trail of things that are on fire behind me.
Yeah, perfect. Barnes, what are you up to?
I think I'm going to take the ball on this spell maintenance.
Hell yeah. We are officially
Teamwork.
halfway through casting the spell. That being said, Tony, the ship is... I'm going to give you an option here. The ship is starting to explode.
Yeah.
I assume you're going to want to jump to it.
I thought the one that's exploding is the one that we're on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got a plan for that.
I mean, okay, cool. Well, with that, then you could hear the ship starting to sort of like tear apart around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as I feel the ship starting to rumble and tear apart, I'm going to use the spell Release, which is one that we just crafted in chat a second ago, which lets me unleash the remainder of the health points that I have as bone shards and ice and a partially digested worm / thing comes out as I whip, as I turn for a second back into whip form, and deal 6 damage to the area around me. Really just, I'm killing it as it's dying. And then all of a sudden we see my hair start to expand out. Like I'm a whip for a second. And then like, I basically like braid together and then like keep on spinning in the other direction and twirl out and start to thread through this entire Corvid ship. Like pulling in the middle of exploding parts
Pieces
of the
back
ship
together.
back to like you see like that second where
Amazing.
everything starts to move out. There's a slow point. I like expand out and everything and just like slam it all back together. And then what do you call it? The one hole that a bird has, a cloaca? Is that what it's called? Whatever the cloaca is on this ship, like erupts exhaust out into space. And I go, excuse me, that was highly inappropriate.
Yet, Adam,
As I take over the ship.
you're on the ship as this happens, and you can start seeing the ship come apart around you, and then just hair sort of stitch it back together, and then
That is
Barnabas's
incredibly
voice
gross.
just through the speakers.
I think we're okay now, though.
Yeah, as you all sort of now have 2 ships, plus all of Barnabas's bone ships.
Hold on, let me reset my stats.
Tony, I was prepared for this. I did not think you were prepared for this. The ship has 30 health, which means Tony gets plus 30 to his stats.
Amazing. Cannot fail.
Truly cannot fail at this point. Weirdly,
good to
this class
fail.
was not balanced around taking over an entire spaceship, as one might imagine.
Yeah.
What's balance? As we take this ship over, we're just gonna narrate it from here because it seems like the thing that happened is Barbatus has become one of the dreadnoughts. Your little skeleton ships finished destroying the second one of them, and as the divers approach, there's just no hope for them between what you all have here.
The 3 skeleton fighters, the Leviathan, and the one the hair destroyer.
The hair destroyer. The hair destroyer. So instead, what I'll ask is, if everybody wants to give me a heroic shot of what the end of this battle looks like for you.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what it is, like for Diriel, who sat down and is continuing to focus on finishing out the sun murder spell, Barnabas's hair kind of moving around the ship behind her in strange like ropes.
There are there are like there are hair forms walking around the bridge as if they were fuzzy people in the
Amazing.
background behind you.
Amazing. Duriel sits just on the floor, very calm and concentrated. Her sword on her leg with the runes glowing slightly, and a bell on her other knee being held silent until the spell is like ready to go, in which case she'd open her eyes and just say, "I'm ready."
Perfect. Barnes, what about you?
I don't know. Skip, pass.
Great. Adavon, what does it look like as you are finishing the enemies of this ship off?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. What I was doing was finishing off the enemies on this ship. Just any Corvids remaining on the gross hair ship. I'll finish them off and then get off the gross hair ship onto the slightly less gross tick ship.
I love the visual too of like the ship itself as Adabon is moving through the corridors, the ship itself like reaching out and grabbing like the baddies and pulling them to the wall. So you're just like hacking and slashing.
There's
through.
a moment also with the ship reaches out for a high five as well.
I do not give the ship a high five.
Denied. Denied.
No.
Sorry, I am grossed out by you. Thank you for the help, but I am grossed out.
So the first two what are the small ships called?
Divers.
The first two divers like are taken out by weapons fire, and then all of a sudden, Adabon, you can sense very clearly what is happening in a way that almost no one else can. All of a sudden, you look around you, and all of the hair seems to be teeming with sweat as I cast the juice on the entire ship. And you see two giant hair arms pull out. Each one grabs one of the two diver ships and just goes, rah, rah, and just smashes them together repeatedly as if they were playthings, and then throws them into the sun.
Now kiss.
And then throws them into the sun. Because I was accumulating all that sweat narratively because I learned the juice.
I was
So
sure you were
good.
doing something with it, which is why I was like, I want to give them an opportunity to paint a photo for me here.
I was like, look, the more I catch of this, if I end up in ship form at some point in time, I have better narrative conceit for why I can cast this on a whole ship, even though there's no limitation.
Yeah.
And just for Joe, I extrude the sweat of 1,000 push-ups.
Disgusting. If he were here right now.
Wait, somebody clip that for Joe for later.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, as this spell completes, though, because you were in fact focusing on a spell to blow up the sun, the four of you find yourselves in somewhere not wildly unfamiliar after last session, which is previously when you saw the skull singularity that was sort of what remains of the moon. You were in this like black featureless void, and this is much the same, but it is instead a white featureless void. And you see sort of just standing before you is a small woman, just like dark skin and a head just wreathed in flames. And you can recognize her as both sort of an avatar of the sun and of life. And she sort of looks in your all's direction. She's like, so you're here to kill me?
Yes.
That's plan C, yes.
I got an idea. I got a pitch. What if you just left?
Does one of you want to become the sun?
Wait, that's not my voice anyway. This is my voice now. What if you just left?
Just your normal voice now.
No, it's slightly more uptoned, a little bit more resonant, but yeah.
Okay.
Become the sun?
Someone has to do it.
Why?
Do you want the sun to just not exist?
That was
Barnes
plan
is
B.
nodding.
I look at Barnes. Is this like an upgrade situation for you or a downgrade situation?
I mean, we can't have it be here because that's how they're coming through.
Right.
What's the
but
nature? Oh, go on.
if it wasn't here, then they couldn't come through it.
Right. So one of us can't become the sun.
Unless
But
one of us does become the sun, and with the power of the sun stops the Corvids, from using the sun.
or if a comet became the sun, could you hurtle through space as a giant fireball, destroying everything in your wake? I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. I became a ship today.
What was the nature of the portaling magic? Like that's not necromancy, right? That's something else.
It's not necromancy, but it's not
Okay.
not necromancy. It is definitely like a form of magic that they're using the sun for.
Okay.
Now that you're here, and now you've like been through the sun before, you and are like now aware that the sun's sort of a person, in the same way a comet's sort of a person. There's some degree to which she's probably been willing to let them travel through her.
So can you not?
Why wouldn't I?
Well, I mean, if you don't, we wouldn't have to unalive you. I'm trying to say this in a non-threatening, negotiating manner.
I mean, I think the point of this type of negotiation is threats. We might not want to make them because we might not have realized you were a sentient entity. I mean, it tracks, don't get me wrong, until this point. But yeah, like I think our choices are you don't let them travel through you, or look, we got to explode you or we got to explode the other one, or both. Like that's fine. That was plan A. Like we can pivot to plan B at this point.
I'm sorry, what are plans A and B?
A is that we blow up both the suns, so you and the other person, I guess.
Oh, my
What-
sister, yes.
Yes. So B is that we just blow you up. Bees is that we release a large amount of bees into the solar system. I'm not exactly sure why that one, but Adebon was very attached to it, so we held on to it. I C was 0.5 on my presentation. That didn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense now. It made sense to me at the time.
No, we didn't have a C because we were going alphabetically by groups. And we
Duriel,
don't
what was
have-
your plan again? Plan D? That's right.
No, my-
Plan Duriel?
At Plan Duriel is going to take a step forward towards this entity. As long as the Corvus Dominion is able to cross through this sun to ours, we are in danger. It's a threat that we can no longer ignore. Is there anything that you can do to assist us?
I guess you could kill me.
I could. And Duriel's gonna like hold her sword at her side. Is that the option that?
Well, maybe my perspective's just bigger than yours, but I don't know. People are traveling. That's your problem.
People are able to massively transit troops into our solar system and continue to threaten our very way of life. So, in a weird way, yeah, people are traveling.
Okay, but it seems like they're bringing people into your solar system while people are dying, at least. So, like, sort of net zero.
I mean,
That's-
if we're talking life scales, certainly. Duriel's going to turn back and look. I'm pretty sure we're just going to have to. kill her.
I'm kind of the expert at social interactions here. Let me give this another try.
Tony has the stats to be the social expert.
So I have the stats to do anything I want.
Anything
to.
you want. Yeah, I can't stop you.
So a long time ago on whatever planet did tree magic in our solar system, there was this concept that if a tree got cut down or if people did damage to the environment, it wasn't a big deal because you could always plant more trees. And so sometimes people would just say, oh, we had to do this to this tree, so we'll just plant this tree over here. But the problem with that takes forever. It's kind of like saying, oh, well, we could destroy you as a sun, or we could destroy 10,000 suns, or we could destroy a galaxy, but it's fine as long as we start another galaxy somewhere else. And functionally, that's just kind of bullshit, and it doesn't work. So even though there are people moving into our solar system, they are killing the unique incarnations of that, and the impact of that from a settled and sustainable standpoint doesn't actually impact the solar system until way, way, way later. I mean, if we were, again, talking about suns or galaxies here, we'd be talking about billions upon billions of years as the equivalent range of time. And so I think that framing might track more within your context.
Interesting. So you're saying my perspective is wrong here?
No, I'm saying our perspectives are different. And I'm trying to use an analogy to help make things more congruent.
So you want to be the sun?
Look, now that I know the sun's a living thing, I don't know how many health points a sun has, but I'm just saying.
Diriel's going to shake her head. No, Barnabas. The
No?
line has to be drawn somewhere.
Is it because I can't fit in a drawer anymore?
I will miss our walks, and unfortunately, the sun must die.
Okay. Look, we all know that I'm the best at social interactions here. And so if that didn't work, I mean, nothing will. You're right.
Yeah, nod. And Diriel's going to prepare for killing the sun lady. The little old lady in the sun.
Yeah. Let's see real fast. We're at before we get to combat here, let's go ahead and take a quick break.
Awesome. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We are right now playing In Extremis Solarcide. It looks like we're about to kill our first sun. Will we kill another one? Will we kill this one? Only if you come back and watch, because if you don't, if a sun gets killed in the necrosphere and no one's around to watch it on stream, did it happen? Find out after this. Before we go back fully live, I'm going to ask the one person who's got their mouth full right now. Keegan, tell us a little bit about your submission to the Together We Jam Blister City.
Yeah, the Survivor's Guide to Blister City. It's my Together We Go game. That is what if Cyberpunk was less aggressively corporate. I don't have a elevator pitch planned for it yet.
Awesome. Perfect. I love it. Every single second of it. So we on break, we did find out that as we all kind of look at each other and Diriel's like shaking her head at Barbados, that all of a sudden one other person's going to step forward to try to talk.
So looking at the sun lady, Damon's going to say, so you say people traveling through you is a net zero population for our solar system. But
Yes.
That's not what's happening. The Corvus Dominion is traveling through you to get to our solar system, and they're just killing everything. They killed my entire planet, and then they're leaving. It's a net loss for our solar system.
Interesting.
We have one populated planet left. And if we lose that, the Corvus Dominion is going to leave, and our solar system is going to have 0.
Do you think your solar system would recover from it in a few trillion years?
A trillion is a long time, but probably. Look, I do bonsai trimming a couple times a week. I am not an evolutionary biologist.
I was just ready for a Daybot to go. It's like hard flex as a response.
Yeah,
honestly, I'm surprised that David knows big words like evolutionary biologist.
Yeah, the sun is unsold on that.
All right, let's kill her.
Yeah, let's
can I hit
move
her
into
with my sword?
Nothing stopping you.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, go for it. You all have this moment, and she's like, I mean, like, you'll recover eventually, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm killing her. Rip the sword out.
Yep. So I would like to point out, I have switched to my buy pride dice. So if this fails, I will literally cry on stream.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, technically still a success.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I rolled 3 2s and a 4.
3 2s and a 4. That's a
Yeah, you
success,
do.
though. We'll take it.
Yep.
Yeah. How much damage did that do? You're still juiced, presumably.
I am indeed still juiced, and I'm using. Does my flaming greatsword do less damage because I'm attacking the embodiment of the sun?
There's no damage resistance in this game.
Okay, I like it. So that's 3 damage with the sword, and I spent all my XP on the juice. So that is an extra 3 damage, so that's 6 total.
Great. Yeah, she looks sort of surprised at you. And she sort of like waves a hand to the side, and you see a like small fox made of fire sort of appear on the ground next to you, and it's just gonna take a swipe at you.
My favorite browser.
It would do 1 harm, but
I
as we have repeatedly learned, she doesn't know that fact though. So
I have impenetrable body, which does every time I take damage, I take 1 less than I would have because I did lots of push-ups and sit-ups or whatever.
yeah. So what are the other 3 of you doing? Now you have the sun here.
Did my
as
fighters
well
come
as-
in with me?
Yeah, I'll say they probably have like since reshaped into normal skeletons again. Or no. We're in this weird liminal space.
And I'm a ship.
And you're a ship, but you are like human-sized.
Right.
So your ships are
Like drone-sized?
Drone-sized, yeah.
Perfect. We all attack. Me with
Don't even roll for it. It's fine.
You want to know about my critical successes? Do you not want me rolling for crits?
Oh, I guess you could crit. Yeah, go ahead and roll for it. Let's go.
Hold on, let me load up that many dice into the system.
To this virtual roller at this point, I have to assume.
It is. Is that correct? Nope. Add 2 more.
How many dice are you rolling?
11.
Okay, cool.
I guess we didn't establish what type of attack this was, but I have 2 11s and a 12, so I'm rolling an 11.
Yeah, this feels like. What do you feel like you're rolling here? What are you feeling in this moment?
I feel like this is muscle. Like I'm trying to hit her hard, and so this is a rare muscle moment. I critted.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that coming, right?
Yes. However, this does cause me to lose a health point and therefore a stat.
Oh no, you'll only have 10 dice on a stat, or it'll be straight 11s probably.
No, no, because I usually take it off whichever one I use as my controlling attribute.
That's fair.
And so yes, that was a crit.
12 damage from the ships, because I know this already.
It's how much?
The ships do 12 damage on a crit because we had to do this earlier, and I wrote.
Oh, that's right. So they did 12.
Mm-hmm.
If we're integrating what I'm doing also too, that's 2 more harmed with maximum juice. So, that's
3, 5.
Yeah, that's 5
more. Okay, cool.
5 more damage. Oh, if it's a crit, it's going to be 10 damage.
Yeah, it was. That's fine.
So 22 damage all day. Minus another stat point because I lost another hit point.
Yeah, that's great. I love this for you. Yeah, as this happens, you see, obviously it's a really powerful hit there. You see, you've been sort of standing in this white, featureless, like, void, and it starts darkening around you all. It's like a gray now, but Diriel and Barnes, what are we up to?
Diriel, remind me again. So the Bane moves, how do you just like activate them, or is there a trigger that like kicks them in?
Nope, you just activate them. You just won't be able to use the non-baned version of it until you can get a long rest.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I'm going to yeah, let me see. Yeah, no, she's not gonna bother with the bells at this point. She's just gonna walk up and like bring out the sword, at which point the runes on the blade are gonna they're gonna ignite brighter, and like the flame will dance up the blade, and as they do, the runes will kind of like spiral out into actual text. And you'll see, I was made for the keepers to slay those already dead. And she's going to bring that down against the sun.
Yeah, go ahead and make, what sort of roll do you feel like this is?
I mean, it makes sense for it to be muscle. I just don't want it to. But well, here's what I think it is. Bones for like calculated moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Diriel is doing this to try and get an understanding of like this is there's an actual term for this. Not a feint, but like she's trying to like draw attention to give Barnes a better opening to attack.
Yeah, that could be a bones. You're thinking it through.
Oof, that's a good thing. I got 1-4.
Okay, sick. Yeah, how much damage does that do? It's 2.
It'll do 2.
Oh.
Unless there's some specific language. The sword of the keeper is used on an enemy that should remain dead or has been ignored by death. The next attack done against them deals double damage. So I don't know how much that applies.
I'm going to say not in this case.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, it only does the 2 damage.
Cool. Great. And Barnes, what are you up to?
I mean, I'm just gonna jump up and body slam the sun woman
Hell yeah.
using using takeoff, and that's a combat spell, right? So I just mark a well.
You just mark a well. Yeah. Tell me what it looks like. Tell me how much damage you're doing here.
So I do 3 damage because I did upgrade this. Yeah, I'm disturbed by this gray sky, so I jump up in the air to get a closer look, and then I just
Zoom back down.
elbow drop this old woman,
Perfect.
the oldest woman I've ever met.
The oldest woman you've ever met, for sure. You can't tell because her face is just fire, but she would have a good number of wrinkles.
Right.
Yeah, it is the sun's turn now, though. And you can see Barbatus, you've done a lot of damage to her. She's not happy about it.
Bring it.
So you see, the first thing she does is she sort of raises a hand towards you and just fires off a gout of flame in your direction. It's going to do 3 harm. But the other thing it does is now behind you there are 2 more of these little flaming foxes, and they're both going to get attacks in as well. For
the other thing it does makes this entire space smell like burning hair. Ha!
Overall, you're going to take 5 harm from this, though.
Cool.
That is the enemies, though.
My hit points, though.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to not have to hold back on somebody?
Don't you hate to hold back? Wouldn't you like to just go apeshit?
It sounds kind of weird because she's the sun, but she also takes a damage from my flaming sword.
She does, in fact, take another damage from your flaming sword. Luckily, in this weird liminal space, fire's a very different sort of thing here. We don't have to think too hard about it. But we are back to the player's turn.
I'll attack her again.
Go for it. You hit her with the big guns, and I'll follow up with the bigger guns.
Another barrage. I'm gonna move my folks out all around her and hit her from a bunch of different angles. Let's call this a bone roll.
Yeah, go for it.
What if I get 3
again?
What if I get 3 6s?
Did you get 3 6s?
I did.
Okay. Tony, just go ahead and tell me what it looks like when you kill this woman.
So all of a sudden we see like the bone fighters fan out, and we see Barbatus just start like bombarding, and you could tell that like there's an intense amount of focus here. Really, that even in life, Barbatus never displayed. Like he was always kind of madcap, like leaping around the field of combat, doing intense amounts of damage as he moved from space to space to space, attacking enemies just far apart. It's the first time anybody's ever seen Barbatus do sustained damage to one enemy for an extended period of time, to the point where all of a sudden, like it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and it's hard to even look at, until standing there in the old woman's place is Barbatus as the sun. Because I
standing
cast Infect.
in her place is, in fact, Barbatus as the sun.
As he looked in life, not in death, with long flowing beard, his whip form in his hand, and flaming eyes. Yeah, it's all red hair now too. It's very sexy.
It's all red hair for sure. Yeah. How does everyone else react to this?
I'll let the other 2 go.
Gonna lean over to Dariel. How long until he gets distracted and screws this up?
Yeah, Duriel's going to pull out the largest bell from her jacket and have her sword kind of on like in her other hand and look at Barbatus. You know I can't let you stay this way.
Like a chorus of musical voices pours out. Oh, I was still planning on coming with you.
Duriel will kind of raise one eyebrow. You just wanted to try it on for size?
For size and for a while.
What are you planning?
So Keegan, what does Barbatus know about the liminal space that we're in? Can I end this?
I have a really cool idea to like go along with this. If it will work the way that I think it will work.
Tell me your idea here real quick.
My idea is that Duriel reaches out a hand and puts it on Barbatus's chest as he is the sun and casts consecration, which would negate the effects of necromancy or prevent necromancy on it, which would remove him like the sun would then be dead and Barbatus would be like forcibly removed from the sun would be my guess, but I don't want to do that if that's going to send Barbatus like to death.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so I will say this. Barbatus, there isn't. You could give this position to somebody else. You couldn't end this position. You couldn't just choose to.
No, that's fine. No, so the liminal space that we're in, can I return everybody to normal space besides me?
Yeah, you for sure could.
Sure. As Sarah's character as Duriel reaches out to touch me, everybody's back where they were. Actually, that's not true. Everybody's back on the Attila. Here's what I would like to do, and you tell me what I need to roll it out.
Yeah.
I want to pull the old lady's sister here, kill her, and take her spot in our solar system.
Absolutely. So, as you all don't know Barbatus's plan.
No.
But you are on your way to stop him, and he sends you back to where you came from, ending the spell you all had cast here together. How do you all react to that is what I'll ask, and then we'll get back to Barbatus here in a minute.
David's gonna ask, like, do you still have that sun killing spell primed? Because I think we have a problem.
What's Barnes up to? We just got norped out of killing Barnes' arch nemesis.
We got to get back to our system.
I will say this: you can 100% tell that you could easily travel through me to get back to your own system. Like there is a doorway and a pathway open right now.
Is this sun going to keep its cloaca closed?
I hate that we've chosen this word.
It's a really good word. It's the problem.
We as a collective have chosen violence. Duriel is like she was going to forcibly remove Barbatus, and I think as we get moved back, her hand is still out, and there's a moment of uncertainty as she stands there, and Adaban kind of asks the question. Duriel will look at the sun and
as we look at the sun, Barbatus, what is different about it?
The solar flares are long, undulating whip-like things lashing through the sky. You actually watch like the wreckage of other Corvid ships that were coming nearby are actively being destroyed by like these whip-like solar flares that are launching out and lancing through them.
Yeah, if I'm seeing this, Diriel will nod and choose to trust Barbatus and is going to like input coordinates to like head back through.
Yeah, as we zoom back through your son, Barbatus, you can pull her sister towards you. And you know, there's a battle there, just like there would have been here, and you're successful. You're way more prepared for this than she is.
She was not prepared for somebody who took over her sister's body to pull her into their solar system and swap places with them.
No, not at all, in fact.
Whew, I'd never make that mistake as a son.
As you swap places with her, you can feel the Corvus sun exploding behind you. It is like gone now.
Oh, good. I killed 2 old ladies today.
You killed 2 old ladies today. Sun count 2 so far.
Yeah, Clove. Where you at now in the chat, Clove?
As we come back into the opener system and we're heading back towards Hecate, I think you all see the slow approach towards the planet. The sun behind you starting to change, and you get the feeling Barbatus is here still.
I think you see the same kind of whips, and what you see is actually the sun like shrinking back towards its former position from where it had expanded out to, destroying. Like now it's just hulks of space rock because they're burnt beyond compare because they're inside of a sun. But the like planet, there's planetary space that's now reclaimed. But yeah, the same kind of lashing. The same kind of lashing whips all around it, but nowhere near as violent or aggressive.
Yeah. As you all arrive back on Hecate, you're celebrated as heroes, obviously. Mother Anna's, on seeing the sun, is aware of what you all have done here and has sort of prepared people for your arrival. And how do the 3 of us, I guess, celebrate?
I would like to do 3 things.
Push-ups, sit-ups, juice drink.
And juice.
Protein shake. I'm celebrating.
It's a cheat day.
Cheat day. Do the chocolate protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. And you're also able to, a character we didn't really see much of, you see your wife again. Diriel, what does it look like for you when you come back to Hecate?
She would say goodbye to her companions, understanding that she needs to return to the vault. And it would be very not overly formal, but kind of in that Diriel way where it's polite but not very familiar. And she would go back to the vault, walking into the entryway and kind of pausing at the room where Barbatus would like the furthest he ever got down the hall, kind of a thing, and stop for a moment before walking quietly to where Barbatus was normally stored. Once she arrived there, she would kind of stand with the open drawer and like all of the weird little knickknacks Barbatus had collected in his drawer to make it more personable. You know what I mean? And just kind of look at it for a minute. She would pick up 2 or 3 of his favorite items, all liquid vials. Yes, she would gather them up, put them into a pouch before taking a step back and checking her bells. And then I would use once more through the void to go to where Barbatus is, because Diriel is a keeper.
Holy shit. We'll get back to you. Barnes, what are we up to?
Yeah, I think Barnes just says, I have to get back to my travels. Thank you so much for helping me. And if you're ever feeling unlucky, you can make a wish on me. And Barnes also uses Through the Void, but just like go back to there long in a regular orbit around the solar system.
Incredible. And we cut back to just as we're starting to fade away. Diriel arriving in Barnabas's weird liminal space.
Yeah, so Barbatus is like crouched over what looks like a control panel, and he is like, you still get that like weird chorus of voices effect of him, but he's like snickering and giggling, and you can't quite tell exactly what he's doing initially, but then it becomes very clear he's using sunspots to spell out, pay attention to the patterns. Until we hear, I think, just a soft jingle of a bell behind him.
Yeah. Incredible. And we're going to just leave it here. Well, this was so much fun.
Good game.
I almost cried a little at the end.
I truly, when she was like, I'm a keeper, I go back through. I was like, oh no, I'm going to cry. I know that spells only one way.
Yeah, she would. It would once Barnabas was in the sun, and it's like, okay, great, that's cool and all, but I'm a keeper. My like task is to watch over things that should be kept, and like, yeah, it's not like anybody's gonna lose the sun anytime soon, but like, that's Diriel's friend in there, bud.
I also love the fact that like a billion years from now, when I run down the HP of this sun, like we're just gonna get popped out, and we get to see what necromancy life looks like a billion years in the future.
In a post-sun life, yeah.
Post-sun life, you know. Love it.
It was very good. It was very good. Very
you.
good. Many pew pew. Many feel.
I'm just like taking a minute to digest, but
I know.
You take your show back over.
So normally we do a thing called reaction roll, which feels dumb right now. Which is when we talk to Keegan about what we thought about the game. Most of us have played In Extremis before, and we can certainly talk about that. If you're watching right now, you have questions. If you have fanfic you want to write in chat right now, this is your moment. Get in there. Tell us what you think happens to Mother Anna. Spin some vignettes for us. Ask questions about what happens in the future. We're all here for it. 3 of us are in space in different suspended liminal celestial forms, and one of us has a heavenly body, and that's all that matters. But no, if you have thoughts, but no, yeah, let's do stars and wishes. Like, let's just do, I mean, wishes maybe is weird because I wish we were going to play some more. But what were some of our favorite moments or things other people did that we really loved? Or if we kept on playing, what do we wish was going to happen?
Can I go first?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I just want to say, as someone who like has sworn off lore and canon and just like overdosed on it as a teen reading Forgotten Realms books or whatever, I'm excited by like the developing lore and like the season pass lore of In Extremis, and I think you do a great job of being evocative while also like keeping stuff gameable for players and inviting for people to, you know, jump in and play with. Like, it's not something that happened a billion years ago and you'll never even see it. It's something that you can affect and change and interact with, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I love, that's the thing I really like about the season pass thing, is the like slow lore drops over time.
Well, and I'll start, like, Keegan, your ability to, like, it's really funny because there may be people out there watching who, if you just watch this one, you might be like, that just all seemed really weird. But I could tell you the narrative logic that built into the vast majority of the weird choices that went on there. Like, but once you've let Aaron King become a comet that is also a person, that means and once we've named moons have lives, and that impacts the way that, like, that type of stuff immediately means suns, planets, everything potentially can be embodied and interacted with in a sentient and engaged way. And it was very cool to see all those little drops of here's just lore about celestial bodies and how they interact spiritually and mechanically with the game and the lore. Oh, now here's a type of body that's become incarnate in some form. Oh, also now when you kill this sun, it's not just about blowing it up. You have to stab an old lady or shoot her to death with your body hair. Or both, you know. That's a really cool build, and I think it flies with anybody who's like anti-canon or slow lore builds or other stuff like that. Isn't good writing. Fuck you. Watch what we just did. So that's my star for Keegan.
Thanks.
I'll have more in a second.
I want to start if we're just doing like system based stars. I love or a solar system.
There we go.
What I really constellation even what I really like about just the system in general. I'm gonna speak like over like the entire duration. I'd never played in Extremis. This is my first time. And I love how each class has a vibe and has a feeling, and it feels true to that. And more than that, like none of the mechanics get in the way of playing the game. Like at no point did we have to like Tony became a spaceship and we didn't have to stop and be like, but does that affect your rate? You know what I mean? Like it just the gameplay was able to move forward and exist and give players opportunities to use their moves in cool different ways. And I, as a player, thoroughly enjoyed that because I think a lot of the times mechanics really slow down the pace of play, and it becomes less about telling a story and less about playing the game and more about how do we make the game play the way we want it to. And there was at no point during the entire time did I feel like that happened. So that's a big win for me.
I like to just second everything Sarah said. It was also my first experience with In Extremis, and just everything she said is exactly my feels on it. So,
well, I love to hear this. Thank you all. I'll give stars out. Let's go. Just to the group in general, this has been truly such a joy to play with you all. I'm so glad we were able to get together for this.
Big same. This was so fun.
I love Aaron's willingness to die repeatedly. I'm really disappointed. I almost just accidentally killed you this session just to keep it up. I was like, as I expelled him into space, I do Barnes's body a little wrong.
I would have accepted that.
The outside. But no, that enthusiasm of like, yeah, I roll bad and now I just die is always really good, and especially in a game where you're not out when that happens. But I feel like for you, Aaron, like you're always just like, yeah, whatever, I die, and then new character or not, I'm here for fun. I'm here to hang out with friends, and I always love that energy. I was really waiting for the moment in the space battle where you threw rocks at somebody. I will say that was my wish for this session.
I almost threw rocks at the sun.
Throw rocks is a very good move that I really, really love. And because it's such a grounded, like, it 100% thematically makes sense, but it's a very, like, human experience of what it means to be a comet, I think. And so I really love that. Sammy, for you, it was really great to play with you for the first time, and we've gotten to play another game since then. But even just, like, knowing, having played the other game now, like, that you love scenes being set up for you. Like, and that you like to say, okay, other people did this stuff, here's how I want to step into that. That's really good, because on the first stream, I was just like, oh my gosh, Sammy has to deal with the rest of us and hasn't played with us before. And I'm worried because Sammy isn't talking that she hates us all. And then like after we played Cyber Plus Punk the other day, when you were like, oh, I just like scenes set up for me, I was like, oh, thank goodness. They're not just toughing it out. They don't hate us. And so, but no, I do really love, like, I love playing with people also who are like, here's the thing I want to do. I want to be big. I want to be strong. I want to hit people with a sword. And that's like, I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, I want to do a million different things. And so I love somebody who has that kind of clarity and focus around character. And then Sarah, like, I almost started tearing, like, for real. I was just like, ah. And I love that you were willing to embrace my weird little whip when no one else was. And
I love it.
And then Ian came to live with me in the liminal space of the sun for billions of years. And,
Yeah.
you know, lots of reruns on TV, but it was still a blast, I'm sure. And so, yeah, absolutely wonderful. Even though you tried to kill me at the end when I was in sun form.
Well, that was like it was that hesitation of like
So good.
I can stop this, but like I don't want to hurt my friend, right? Like it's like it was such a beautiful moment of like I can't let you be this way.
Well,
But
and
at
I
the same
think
time I trust you, but I can't. Like it's so good.
in my brain canon, like that hesitation, like you immediately went to, and that hesitation was in like snap, like you're out of
Yes.
here.
Yes,
Kicked,
it was
right?
in that moment for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
If you hadn't hesitated at all, I would have made I would have made this one roll for it. You were like, I'm not sure, and I was like, you don't know what you're doing. You're out of here.
Right.
And I already
Get outta
knew what
here,
I
bud.
was doing.
Yeah.
So, so those are besides Keegan's awesome building of this game, those are my stars for the other players.
Yeah, I'll just tack on. I loved like Aaron, like our flashback moments in the last session and how you like talked through Barnes like having this planet that he loved to visit and all of this stuff and getting that like more like I feel like each of us had like the personal connection, but yours like super resonated with me. Like Barnes is like on a mission. Like at first we were all kind of like the Corvus Dominion, like we got to stop them, and you were like, no,
Fuck the sun.
And it was such this like a really beautiful like moment for as like playing through it. I was like, no, like legitimate. And so when we were like there and it was a person, my like I was immediately like, what's Aaron doing? Like, what is Aaron doing? And
That
was
wasn't my enemy son, though. That was the other son. So
I know, but like you realize like because it made sense like talking through it, but we got there and I'm like, oh shit, I did not consider this until this moment. What's Aaron doing? And then Sammy, I loved Adeben was like, this is what I do, and I do it well. And like the like action shots that I had like pictured in my mind, like it particularly in the last scene of like running solo across this bridge, just like cutting down enemies as they like kind of fall into like the void of space. So cool. Like I love that like you leaned into the way that this character was built and the way that they were. And every time I have a plan, like it was just very, very good. I loved it a whole bunch. Tony, Barbatus was inspired from the jump. I love Barbatus. I think he's a phenomenal creature. And I'm going to say this because I mean it with my whole heart. The sun is just the friends that we made along the way. And I'm very pleased at this.
The sun is just the friends that we made along the way.
Again, a line I literally wrote before the session began. So I'll say like above the game when I was writing this one out, I was like, the sun's gonna give them like the option to become the sun, like put a few things like that. I was like, the thing that's going to happen is they're all like, we're gonna take turns being the sun, and the sun was gonna be the friends. Like in my head, I was like, they're gonna want to take turns, and it made sense that Barbatus was like, no, fuck you all, I'm the sun. But I was like, the sun's gonna be friends. The sun's gonna be friendship.
There's a really weird video game that my kids played forever on the Xbox when they were very young called Maw. Did any of you play this? Where Maw's just a creature you lead around on a leash and it gets bigger and bigger as it eats things. But the game definitely ends with Maw like eating the entire planet that you're playing the game on and becoming the planet. And I feel like that was Barbatus's arc in the last. Like Keegan's like, wait a minute. I feel like that was Barbatus's arc this session specifically, but kind of the entire time where it's like I took over a medium-sized body, then a much bigger body, then just rolled around in that for a while, and now I'm a ship, and then I'm the sun.
It's very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
This was really good. I don't have anything else to add right now, but wow, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I also did put out on Twitter. I am very curious what the most damage anybody has ever done in a Lumen game in a single turn. Because there's not currently like a leaderboard or anything, but I do think I might be at the top of that with 22 damage in one turn. Because I think the most damage I've ever done in a Lumen game before, which there's
Is
no
like
scale.
6.
Like people can write damages whatever they want in a Lumen game, so it doesn't functionally matter. Was like 10 in a round. And 22 is a lot of damage to do in a round.
Yeah, as soon as you put that out, I was like, I have to fundamentally change my approach to what's happening here.
It doesn't even count when I was like, what do you get when you roll 3 6s? Which I knew Keegan would also acquiesce to just out of sheer 666. Yeah, that's gonna do something. Like you kill the thing. It doesn't matter how many hit points it had.
Yeah, it was enough that it was gonna be down to like 5 or 6 HP anyway, and I'm like, that's boring. Let's just go for it.
Awesome. Any other stars? Any other things we want to say before we bid adieu to everybody?
Mostly just want to reiterate stars for everybody because this whole crew has just been a delight to play with for strangers I've met on the internet.
Yeah, but legit, that if that's not a mood, if that's not just a vibe and a half.
It's true. Yeah, it's you know what? Let's all recommend one other piece of media before we go. You should go check out Murder and Coffee by Sarah, which is over on the ttrpg network. Check out the last interview they did. It was absolutely phenomenal.
It was phenomenal.
It was
10
really
out of
good.
10. I actually think that there was a lot of really helpful resources for game masters or what's proctors, keepers, what have you, and how to create a team at your table, make people feel comfortable, build trust. A lot of really great conversations. Absolutely, go check that out. And there was one really phenomenal beard. So
just one.
But
no, there's a lot of great content. These are all absolutely amazing people. Let's whip around real quick and just say where people can find more of the work you do. Let's start with Aaron King.
Aaron King still. I am recent co-host of a podcast called RTFM, which stands for Read the Fucking Manual, where Max Lander and I read old role-playing books and talk through them. They're hour-long episodes. We cover one book. We just covered Gamma World, the 1978 post-apocalyptic sci-fi RPG with Will Yobst, special guest Will Yobst. That's me. Goodbye.
Love it. Such a good show. Sarah, hit us up one more time. Where can people find you?
Yeah, hi, hello. I'm Osarix Franco. You can find me Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all the places at Osarix Franco. I do a variety of TTRPG content here on Tony +1. But the next time you can find me doing TTRPG stuff is going to be over at Nat 20 on Wednesday and Against the Tides, where I play a gnome druid bard named Kelby Sparkspinner, and it's a lot of fun. I curse a whole bunch. Keep an eye on my Twitter. You can find all the different shows that I'm in, whether that's Dark Echoes or The Harpers or Murder and Coffee over at TDK Roleplay. Again, you should absolutely check out the newest episode of Murder and Coffee where we had Tony as our guest. It was great. Cannot recommend it enough. You can find me in Nat 20 in Plains Garden Company after, and then Neon Lights Roleplay and After the End. I will be back on Critical Misses starting next month, I believe, returning with The Lost Frontier, a Star Trek campaign. So I'll just be out and about, and you can find me in all those places, and you should do it because we have a good time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Sammy, tell people where they can find you at.
I'm on the Twitter at Goddess Sammy with one fewer S's than you might think. I'm wherever podcasts can be found on the Greasy Panda Gaming, where we are a Star Wars actual play podcast, and I am the forever GM.
Awesome. Keegan, tell people where they can find you. Also tell them where they can find, besides the link down below, tell us about what's happening with In Extremis. What's the best place to stay up for information around that?
Yeah, I've been and will remain Keegan. You can find me online at KeeganExe or at KeeganExe.com, and we just finished playing Solarcide. You can find it at the link below. If you want to keep updated on it, follow me on Twitter or join my Discord. It's a nice little sleepy community. Hopefully I'm just finishing writing up Solarcide now, getting it from like play notes into like a playable module, and it'll be released when it's done.
Awesome. I had an absolute blast playing it. I also loved going through this whole process. Was super thankful for Keegan for coming and running this for us over the course of this month. We are going to have more series like this over the course of the next year. I do know that we just booked another 2-part series with Jason Cordova for Brindlewood Bay, which is coming to Kickstarter later. Well, that's not public. That's not public knowledge. I can't say when it's coming.
Oh.
April 25th.
I didn't
to a crowdfunding platform near you. Now Jason's going to cancel on me. We're going to play 2-part of Brindlewood Bay coming up later on this month, I believe. We also have some really cool stuff coming up with High Magic Low Lives later on this year with Gym Room Games. I do know that tomorrow I'll be playing Token, which is a 2-player rooted Trophy Dark game where it's GMless and you are playing one person as the hunted and one person as the hunter in a supernatural woods. You leave tokens with your sign and intent for each other for them to discover as you track each other through this dark and horrible space. And so I'm super excited to play that tomorrow night. We've got a little bit of a lighter schedule over the next little bit, even though it doesn't feel that way, just to give me a little bit more mental space to get caught up. But go check out the Together We Jam stuff. It's going through the 15th. You can find stuff like Blister City, After the Bomb. I'm going to do a thing called the Altar of 20 Skulls. It may end up having more skulls or less skulls, but I'm going to make one entry for every game submitted to the jam that was made for the jam. We'll get a skull on the altar, and they will be great to drop into your Down We Go or other game where an altar made of skulls would make sense campaign. And so feel free, check that out. Every time a skull gets picked off, the altar crumbles apart and reforms somewhere else in the world with one less skull until all the skulls have been plumbed. But check that out, as well as all the other fun stuff that's going to drop over at that. Tons of cool store forward OSR. High Magic Low Lives 2 is the worst kept secret in TTRPG history. It's true. We don't have a good way we end these streams, so let's go out with the chicken poetry I asked you all to memorize before we went live on stream. No, we're just gonna wave at the screen until I take us off.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.